Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at WhisperStatus74. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We're Real Tech for Real People. Today is another 4K, 8K Best Buy walkthrough. This is where I go in the stores so you don't have to.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Alright guys, as I mentioned before, I go into local Best Buys to show you the current inventory, to show you panels from last year if they've dropped in price, or new panels as they arrive. Typically in Best Buys in years past, you would see a flagship Samsung first, followed by Sony, and then LG. And a lot of times you'd see those panels in Best Buy before anywhere else. There'd be an 85-inch KS9800 or Q900R, and you would see the Q90R and Q9FN, and all these panels would be there weeks before you guys would see them either online, especially from users. But now, unfortunately, the reason I haven't done these videos has been very little to show you. Typically, I was kind of going in the last few months to show you the state of the business, to show you, since you guys can't go in, what the stores are like. Now, in a few minutes, we'll go into the store and I'll show you the newer panels that are there. You're seeing a lot of mid-range panels from Sony and Samsung. No real flagships yet, or even the X80J that is behind me. But I do want to talk about something very quickly before we go in. Is the largest or the biggest piece of news, and shocking news actually, is the Samsung Q900T. The flagship from last year, the 8K flagship, went down from 5,000 to a flat 3,000 at 75 inches. The 85 inches isn't much more in terms of price. It's almost 4,000, but for an 85-inch 8K flagship, it's an enormous price drop. And price drops like that are a little bit alarming, as if you bought the panel last year, you would have paid upwards of $7,000. Now, I did a video a few months ago of a big price drop where the Z8H and its direct competitor, which is the Q900 or Q900T, had dropped to $5,000. And back then we said, well, it's only a $500 or $600 price drop. Keep in mind, they're 8K flagships. And to see the Z8H still be $4,400 or $4,500 and have the Q900T be a flat $3,000 is alarming. Now, the reason why I tell you that before I actually show it to you is a little bit of buyer's advice. Is many of you, when you're researching panels, you have your mindset on a manufacturer and sometimes, most importantly, on a specific size. The reason why I want you guys to broaden your search a little bit, not even if you change manufacturers, but models and sizes. And what I mean by that is the Q800T, the 8K below the Q900, which has a substantial difference in picture quality, is actually not much cheaper than the Q900. So if you're eyeing a Q800 it finally falls to $2,700 or $2,800, and then you have no idea that the Q900 has hit at $3,000. Or another example is the Sony A9G, where at times where the 65-inch panel has been $2,900 and the 77-inch has been $3,200. So just very much, it's about keeping in mind not just the model, but the corresponding, within the same line, but the size differences to see, oh my God. Or here's the thing, even if the 77-inch is on sale, and the 65-inch is still cheap or still expensive, if you hang back, you might see the 65-inch drop. It's a very dicey time to play that game, though, as inventory is getting low. I imagine the Q900T's inventory is rather high, which is why the price has dropped so much. But that is the 8K flagship. It's the bezel-less design. Absolutely gorgeous display. For context, the current Q900A at 85 inches is $10,000. I believe the 75-inch is $7,000 or $8,000, and here you have last year's model at $3,000. So just keep an eye on that when you go and look online. Best Buy has it on their website as well, where you can choose the sizes. Just as you're keeping your eye on that 55-inch, you might see a huge drop in a 65-inch. That doesn't exactly affect the 55-inch. So let's go into the store. These are the videos that the community always jokes where I'm kind of creeping around the store trying to hide as tall as I am. They were much more fun videos videos to do before when I had more to show you. You'll see a lot of mid-range displays, but I still want to show you them. The prices aren't on everything, but it's just to give you that feel of what the store is like. But Samsung Q900T, to be that cheap is crazy. It's a great buyer's market. It's just very hard if you bought that panel last year. And it should give you guys pause when you're thinking about spending a ton of money on a display. Especially, now, before I go to the video, if it was a 4K 85-inch Samsung at $3,000 or at $4,000, you'd say, wow, that's pretty impressive. But when you start seeing 8K displays drop that quickly, now I'm going to guess the reason for that is it is an LED versus their newer mini LED. They might be trying to move themselves away, but it's a great time to pick up the Q900. I think even the Q90 or the Q90T was still, my point is it's getting to where the prices are a little bit too close together between the Q90T and the Q900. It can be very, very confusing. So take your time online, compare sizes from the same lineup as well as the display above it or below it. You might find yourself with a Flagship when you were aiming for the mid-range. All right, guys, let's walk into the store. All right, guys, here we are in the store. We're going right over to the Samsung Q900T, which is now a flat $3,000. For context, the 65-inch is $2,699, which is why I mentioned being careful when choosing different sizes. The 75-inch Q800 is $2,799. Now we're going to move over to the other side. We're going to see the Q90T on top and another Q900. It's the Q90T price there and the Q900. To the right, you're also going to see a Samsung Q900TS. Love the Samsung demos, by the way. The Q900TS at $85, it's still $10,000. The Q900R from 2019, which has finally dropped in price. I had that panel here, and you can also see it on the channel. Now, as we go into the showroom, you're going to see some of the newer Samsungs, the Q70A, the Q80A, and I believe the Q60A is also here. Prices and the displays are pretty mixed up, so you're going to have to see through the stickers more than I can. The Q90A sticker was there, but the panel itself was not there. Samsung's lineup, yes, mini LED. The only one I can really strongly recommend this year is the Q90A. As far as picture quality, value, gaming performance, the Q900A, which is also excellent, is just very, very expensive. There's the Q80A. Now, typically the Q80s are the ones you recommend the most, but you're looking at IPS panels, things of that nature. It's a little hard to recommend. Though I will say they look very colorful in store. Now, what's interesting too is Samsung is usually first with how their kiosks are organized. They have everything new all together. These are the kiosks behind the main kiosk. So this is the standalone panels behind the main Samsung area. So interesting to have newer panels here, but older ones kind of there. So you have the Samsung Q800 there, which they're trying to move. I'm sorry about the quick moving in. I also have the employees right next to me. You'll see the reflection of them in the screen. There you go. That's another Q80, Q70. That's a Q80A. There's also another Q80A behind me, a small one. I actually like Samsung's smaller panels. Basically monitors. Store was not crowded. There's more employees walking by. I'm not sure they're always happy to see your boy in there lurking around. There is your Sony A9G Master Series at 77 inches. One of my favorite panels of all time. It's getting up there in age. It needs to drop in price. Now having the A90J out there, you could keep this price high because it was the only 77 inch, but now you have the A80J coming out. This needs to be a little bit more affordable. To the right, you're going to see Samsung The Frame. Not a big fan of these panels in terms of their picture quality. They are primarily aesthetic. It's about how they look in your house. More so than being the highest end specs. But when you put the frames on, they do look pretty cool. Now as we move over to the left, you see the Samsung lineup. You're also going to see another A9G and an AAH. AAH price is not there. There's one up front. You'll see the price then. What's fascinating, you see me go to a soundbar by accident, is the A9G clearance is $28.49. When you're looking at the Samsung 900TS at $26.99 or $3,000 at 8K. Love the A9G, but it needs to get a little bit more realistic with its prices. And here's the Sony 900H. This is 75 inch. Very popular display last year. Still waiting for its HDMI 2.1 update, but it was a great overall choice. Very affordable, especially 75 inches, $17.99. The 85 inch is even more impressive. Now, my favorite TV in probably the whole store, other than the OLEDs, is the Z8H for LEDs. My prediction is the X95J will be closer to this panel. Still $44.99. Here is the LG GX from last year. And this is what I mean about things being a little bit stale. This is the GX from last year. The G1 is coming out. $34.99. It was about $6,000 when it launched. Now, the reason you see it as gallery, it's not the wallpaper, so it won't be completely flush. But if you know anything about OLEDs, you know there's the bump in the bottom, and that lays flush. Now, we're going to walk into the sound listening room. They don't really have a lot of the new receivers. They do have a small A90J in here, which I can't show you because there's a music video playing. Don't know why it's in this part of the showroom. It should be out front. Love the A90J. A90J is a special panel. I'll show you the 83 inch as soon as it arrives at Value Electronics. Now here we're looking at the 8K 800, which at 82 inches is $37.99. So now you're talking about having an 82 inch versus the 75 900T. Looking here at the LG OLED, sorry about the Blair Witch camera movement. This is where OLEDs are going to be interesting, where you have the BX, which is a great panel, and you have the CX. They're very similar in price. You're going to have the A series next year, the G1, the C1. They're going to have it so locked down that you're going to have to choose them if you're looking for value. You're going to have an 83 inch C1 at $6,000 versus the A90J at $8,000. There is an LG C1 there. I'm sorry, a CX there. C1s should have been in there by now, but they're not. And to the right, you'll see Sony's lineup, which is the Sony 900H at $85. You're going to see the 950H. The AAH is peeking at the store a little bit. Here's the Sony lineup here. Here's the 85 inch 900H. Again, love that panel at that size. We did purchase one for my wife's office. AAH above it, 950H to the right, and 900H above that. Now the LG nano cells are a bit of a disappointment. other than the highest end. So we're looking forward to see what the QNED line brings in for mini LEDs. Vizio has almost no presence at all here. These are older Quantums. We're going to just skip over those. But what is interesting as I'm walking out is to bump into the X80J. Now, before the 900H, the 800 series was their entry to mid. And typically you'd see these panels in there, the 800 series anyway, at 85 inches for very, very low price. This panel is edge lit from what I understand, and it's actually pretty thin. Looks good in this room, but hard to recommend edge lit panels these days, if in fact it's edge lit. We're going to swing right back to the Samsung real quick. The price drop here is kind of alarming. Makes it hard to purchase a high-end panel, but keep in mind the advice I've given you about choosing the sizes and checking out the prices for each. And we'll just peek at the Z8H one more time. All right, guys, thank you as always for joining me. Take care. Love you guys.